Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sports Speak. I'm one of your hosts, Alexis Yoder, and alongside me is
Jared Smith.
What's up, guys? All right, Jared, you want to get into some wins and losses from the Penn State sports world from this week?
Yes. We have some pretty good ones to talk about. All right, so first up, we have the baseball team had a series of games with University of Michigan, and went 1-2 with a walk-off single from redshirt junior Cole Bartles to win their only game in that series. Next, we have the softball team. They earned its first win of the season, and for new head coach Clarissa Crowell, they won 7-5 on the road at Nebraska.
I think this one was a long time coming, Jared. I mean, they knocked on the door a couple times, but weren't able to get the job quite done, but finally able to push themselves over the top this time.
Right, they got that one on the board, so they're now 1-15. Women's Lax currently at a record of 3-5. The team was swept by Ohio State this weekend, and they started off the season really strong, but they seem to be hitting a slump right now. They lost their last 5 of 6 games.
Yes, and something worth noting about this team is how young they are. They have the top-ranked freshman class in the country, so lots of talent there, but lots of inexperience, and I think we're starting to see that show a little bit more here.
3-5, they have a chance to, turn that season around and get to 500.
Definitely, especially with playoffs coming up.
That's important. So, men's lax. They have a record currently of 2-4, and they just recently beat Johns Hopkins 11-8 to snap a 2-game losing streak and avenge a loss against Johns Hopkins from earlier in the season. Men's lax, we've already talked about them enough. Go look at those past episodes. Men's soccer, 6-1 on the season, and they won against Ohio State 1-0, and they also won against Wisconsin 1-0 with a PK from Pierre Reed in the 87th minute. Pierre Reedy, my fault, in the 87th minute. And finishing up wins and losses, we have women's soccer with their record of 7-1 and 1 draw. They won against Iowa 1-0, and they have a a win streak. Yay! I don't know. We need some confetti or something to shoot off.
Or like a bell.
Or a bell, the Liberty Bell. Sorry, Philly. It's okay. And Ali Siegel scored her 20th goal of her career in the win. And the goalie, Catherine Asman, having another shutout game. They also won the Big Ten national title, which is exciting for the team.
Yeah, they came in 4th place at the end of the Big Ten regular season last year. So they did end up winning the Big Ten tournament title, but there was a lot left to be desired from their regular season last year. And I think that Erica Dombach is going to be pretty happy with their team after the conclusion that ended like it did.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about this women's team. So who are some other players to look out for? I said Allie and Catherine, the goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. Goalkeeper love, shout out. So,
Definitely.
Who are some other people to look at?
I think the 3 seniors, Carrie Abello, Frankie Taliaferri, Sam Coffey, 3 big names on this team for a while. Sam came last year, transferred in from Boston College, and she fit right into this team, immediately took initiative as a leader, and it shows when she's on the field. She's commanding, she's directing all of the players around, and she can assist. She's a very good assister to Allie Schlegel all the time, but she could also crack one from deep. She's had a couple pretty good shots and goals from outside the 18. Carrie, just a very smart and versatile player. She's started playing center back, which she's not normally playing. She's usually playing on the outside or even up front. She's played forward before for Erica Dombach. So she's very versatile, and, with injuries when they come up, she's there to fill in for that. And Frankie, honestly, just a fun player to watch. When she gets the ball at her feet, you never know what she's going to do with it. She can flip it up over her head, back heel, anything. You'll never know what you're going to get from her, and that's something that other teams really need to watch out for.
Say Allie's last name again?
Schlegel.
Schlegel. Okay.
Schlegel.
Schlegel. It just rolls off the tongue. I like that. So, throughout the season, what are some things that has been improved upon from the first match to their 9th match now?
Yeah, so Erica Dombach always preaches possession. Keep possession of the ball. If the other team doesn't get the ball, they don't score. And that's really what her philosophy is. Also, strong defense. This team always wants to play strong defense, play through their defense, play it back, work it around the field. So that's something that needed to be improved upon. Obviously, they lost 2 seniors last year in Kaylee Reel and Ellie Jean, 2 very experienced defenders that they were going to need to replace. So there was obviously going to be some question when it came to defense. But as the season's gone on, they started out 0-1, and now they're 7-1-1. So that's definitely improved a lot from the first game of the season.
So let's talk about what they need to do a little bit more moving forward into the season.
Yeah, I definitely think they need to be playing more through their midfield, particularly through their 2 center midfielders in Sam Coffey and Frankie Taliaferri. As I said before, they're huge leaders for this team. Both seniors, both also coming back next season. They're experienced. They know what to expect from Big Ten matchups. And now going into playoffs, they're really going to need to rely on them more. And with that, they're going to need people up front, Alex Schlegel, to finish their passes. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that ball is going to be played perfectly through the middle, perfectly to the outside. They just need players like Alex Schlegel and Peyton Linehan to be able to finish those shots.
Okay. Well, women's soccer, they seem hot right now. We'll keep an eye on them. And stay tuned for an interview with another Daily Collegian beat reporter. Stay safe, but don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are here with Morgan. She is the Daily Collegian reporter for the men's soccer beat. And so, Morgan, just to get started off, nice little softball question. Can you tell us how the men's season is going so far?
Yeah, so the men's soccer team has had a very successful season so far. They have had 6 wins and only 1 loss, which was against Michigan State. And right now they're actually on like a 4-win streak.
Okay, that's nice. So what are some of the things that you have seen from this team? Like, what are the good things and the bad things? So I guess first talk about the good things, of course.
Yeah, so something that I think the team has been doing really well actually is and it's actually something that Jeff Cook has said a few times in interviews is that let's say one player, like one key player, so like let's say like Brandon Hackenberg on defense gets injured, then the team has the skills and ability to take his place on the field. And so I think that's something that the team does pretty well, just because they have a bunch of skilled players, especially like freshmen too. They've been stepping it up a lot. But one thing that has been kind of difficult is like the games are very back and forth. So something that they probably are working on is just creating more opportunities to take more shots on goal, especially in the first half, because the majority of the goals that Penn State makes is during the second half. So, yeah.
All right. And like you just said, Penn State's looking to create some more opportunities on offense. I've seen a couple scores being pretty consistent across the board in terms of goals and assists. One name I haven't seen a lot of is Liam Butts, and he was all Big Ten last year. So can you tell us a little bit about what the situation is with him right now and who's been picking up the slack on the offensive end of the ball?
Yeah, so I would say one player that has been stepping it up because, yeah, we haven't really seen a lot of Liam Butts this season. I would say is Peter Mangione. He's a freshman, and he had the first goal of the season, and he's actually had a few game-winning goals. I feel like he's definitely been stepping it up in the offense. And another player is Pierre Reedy. He is a redshirt senior midfielder. He's had a few goals also throughout the season. And also Daniel Bloyu has been a very successful player. He actually, in the Northwestern game, they went into overtime because the score was 0-0 the entire game, and he got the game-winning goal in overtime. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So can you tell us about who are some other players who have really impacted the game? Like, who are the top leaders for this Penn State crew?
I feel like, especially on defense, Brandon Hackenberg is definitely a leader out there for the freshmen too that have been playing. And Chris Shakes he's the goalkeeper. He's had a total of 19 saves this whole season. And I mean, the team has won 6 games, so he's obviously having a very great season so far. And yeah, I
Okay.
like those of them.
Awesome. So, last question I think we have for you today is this season has been sort of successful up until this point for the men's soccer team. What does the rest of their season look like, at the end of the regular season and heading into the Big Ten playoffs?
Yeah, so the Michigan and Indiana game actually got postponed because of COVID. But the team plays Maryland next, and I feel like Maryland is a pretty big competitor because the first game was against Maryland and we won. Penn State won. It was 3-2. But Maryland did beat Michigan State 2-1, and that's the one game that Penn State did lose. So I feel like that's going to be a pretty difficult game for Penn State. But I think with how the season has been going so far, it looks like they could make it to the Big Ten tournament.
So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on the men's soccer team as they finish out the regular season and head on into possibly the Big Ten playoffs. All right. Thank you so much, Morgan, for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will be back to finish out this episode.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Sports Speak. Make sure to tune in next week with your hosts, Alexis Yoder and
Jared Smith. Hey Ben, can you pan to Fred? Pan. Have a good one, everybody.